Greetings and salutations, my prayers, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, we started the case of... Well, actually, last time we finished the deduction of what was going on inside the, the Wax Museum. And then, what is going on with my Twitch? It's like all frozen. Weird. And then we started the case. Or started the trial. And our client is not well liked in the scientific community, apparently. So that's fun for him. Anyways, we are currently trying to figure out if it was possible that a man teleported, which is strange, because all eyewitness accounts say that the experiment was a success. Everyone who knows anything about science says that is impossible. So, try and figure that out. Our client is currently very adamant that he did teleport the man, which caused his death, and that he was the only one on stage at the time who could have stabbed him. We were so close to finishing this in in a day. But he had to open his big scientific mouth. Anyways, I think we're trying to poke holes through the theories, because the technology should only, in theory, teleport organic material. But the victim was transported, quote unquote, with his metallic glasses. So, something is afoot, obviously. Onward! He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed. Conspirators?
What would be the value of such a grant? £10?
Well. You're an order of magnitude out, madame. £500 a year.
Oh, whatever. You could live handsome on that much for years.
The society's noticed an increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently. And plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty motive enough for murder, I assure you.
No! I haven't deceived anyone! Least of all the government! My hypothesis is sound! The science is sound! Please, you must believe me!
Objection! No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Burlock!
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Burlock.
Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may. Yes, Lord Vizix. The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement? They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses? Very well. The court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident. The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postiche. The accused killed the financier victim on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend. Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. But where does that leave me? We shall take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand. As you wish, my lord. Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes. Wait, really? I'm surprised that didn't just lead right into the next part. Didn't think it was the end of part 1. 23rd October, 10:44 a.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. What the hell's wrong with you?
Mr. Naruhodo. What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather, what on earth were you playing at all along?
Okay, that's a weird combination of words. I don't know why I can't say that properly.
My hypothesis! My amazing hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Ah,
sorry about that.
But you promised me! You said you'd prove that dreaded explosion was an accident, not a murder!
Which I was trying to do, and you kinda kept insisting it was murder.
You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me!
Yes, I did make you a promise. You're right. I said that I believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
Yeah, but if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see, it's because my work is incomplete.
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Uh-oh. Oh no! You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject, what about Burlock? He's being awful.
Claiming his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster. Not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no. Wait, he's the Reaper, isn't he? Perhaps he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up. Can I double check something with you?
Ah, yes? What?
The machine and demonstration you prepared, they were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved?
I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with a firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet, but please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
Alright, Professor. I understand.
Counsel! Defendant! The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take a stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please.
It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. But on the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Exhibition, is quite impossible. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? "23rd October, 11 a.m. The Old Bailey, courtroom.
In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsels for the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify?
The prosecution is ready, my lord." "As is the defense, my lord."
So, Lord Van Zeeks, I believe these next witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes.
Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Perfect. A detective of all people. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to have committed this act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused.
Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So bring forth the witnesses now.
Bailiff, show the witnesses in. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Oh, hey Gina. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear. Hey, wait. Double check something. Oh, I didn't show it myself. So it sounds like 16? But we graduated from university, so I think we're like 20 plus. Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court to hear. My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in the vicinity of the experimento stage.
My name is William Gosret Sigismund Ormston. Come to see the great exhibition all the way from my home in Bohemia. I'm very rich. Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Sherlock Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the exhibition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons. It was amazing.
Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster up from a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage when the incident occurred. 2 of these witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above. You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only an altitude of circa 60 feet. Very low.
Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high. Can ya?
60 feet. About 18 years then. So about 10 of me.
That's not high at all.
That's like what? 4 or 5 stories?
Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony to the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had a vantage point above the stage.
Witness testimony. The view from 60 feet up. It was an incident. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
There's a huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
A most extraordinary collective account, I must say.
Can I just clarify something? There's a detail in the witness's testimony that I've not heard a mention of until now. Specifically, that there were 2 explosions. More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power was supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes. Viz, a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing. So I kept my eyes wide.
I think that kid's getting ripped off.
I still have lots of money.
Precisely, who is this curious infant?
I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the great exhibition.
Yeah, I'm here in London on a sightseeing trip with my elementary school.
We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that?
When I remove my mask, this is what I look like.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiate the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the crystal tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused, who was with Mr. Asman, on the stage could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. The prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So, the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord.
Cross-examination.
The view from 60 feet up. It was an incidente terrible. I am only grateful that my balloons were not damaged.
Hold it!
There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand? See? All 3 of them! My Bellissimi Bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride.
£10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Royals have all the luck.
I got up there for free, I did. Played the old I work for the Immensity's police card, you know?
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though? Because if I have too many in the sky, they could crash into each other. The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, with each operator manning a particular area. See, and the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresario, they hate me.
Thank you, witnesses. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the exhibition. Perhaps we could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right? I can fill you in there, my lord. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second, another bang in the sky above us, beside us.
Above us.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yep. Isn't it amazing what a detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer is a mug game. You should join the force and we can go flying together.
Is that a date? You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway. Could you tell us exactly what you saw? Do you think?
Everything. We saw everything because we were up above it all. That dodgy cove climbing up into the cage, and that dodgy professor pulling all them levers. And that's when it happened. That's when there was that massive bang, and the cage disappeared, just like that.
Are you describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity? You are describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang, right in the air. I looked around, and there was a huge, giant, great fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before.
Oh. Should I ignore it or press it? That's right, get through as fast as possible.
Excuse me.
Master Gods, does your memory of the day differ?
My teacher at the elementary school says that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Really? Why? Okay, sure, whatever. Last name makes more sense for politeness, but... Ah, yes, what was it again?
William Gottgrutsch Sigmund Ormstein.
Just the 4 names then. The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remarks? Perhaps?
Oh! Girl, I don't know. Is Inspector Lestrade?
Why does everyone have a problem with how I dress them at the moment?
That is not what I saw.
Oh?
Yeah, there was a second explosion. And it was right beside our balloon. That is true. But I'm sure. Which is what I said, in it? One explosion there was nothing there. 1 minute there was nothing there. The next, a massive explosion. My teacher at elementary school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky.
A green balloon?
Eh? What? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it. And you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the council. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed. Play the bleeding royal card, are ya?
Typical. Says the orphan who likes to remind people he works for Her Majesty's police.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia,
it was not the skies that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to ours at the time.
Hold it! A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am sure. I am a proud Bohemian prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
Ah, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
look at though. Is it very long to lie?
Lie?
Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical.
Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia.
Mada!
I will have the army come and shoot all of your stupid balloons out of the sky. All of them.
Here you are, Your Highness.
If only all international incidents were so easily resolved.
Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony. Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Liu? No, I did not see the explosion myself. However, the cage, it fell from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
Hold it! Did you really see that actually happen?
No, in reality, I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grande confusione around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea that one of my balloons had crashed.
As well as they are his livelihood.
But when I looked up in the sky, to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there.
I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower after all. I'm a detective now.
Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade. That's what I'd like to hear. I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away? Eh? You just Ed Odo. How could it have been me? Oh, I was up in a balloon, weren't I? Right. So because I wasn't available, it was the boss who had to leg it over there. It was getting all shoved and kicked all over by the panicking spectators as he tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I can tell you. Amazing. Or Inspector Gregson. So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because all of the smoke. And I didn't really want to see, to be honest. I was scared out of my wits. Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. But what if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. The two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I think I need to find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Do I present this? Because obviously it's the balloon. Or at least a piece of balloon.
Objection!
And that was wrong. That last statement was seen to be at odds somehow with the evidence. No, trying to support. It is your task, counsel, to explain the somehows to the court, not the other way around. It just seems to jar. It just seems to jar, though. Don't you think? What I think is that this whole exchange has been extremely jarring, yes. Perhaps I need to reconsider this. But I already pressed him for it, so...
Hold it!
Nothing really indicating we can press forward. Maybe I go back to the previous statement.
Hold it!
I didn't know what to make of it, but then there was another bang right in the ear. I looked around and there was a huge great fireball right next to us in the sky, and there was nothing there before. And what appears out of flames? The cage, that's what. And that description sounds like the moment after the man was beamed instantaneously through space. It's mind-blowing, isn't it? But that's the 20th century for ya, I reckon. So the people who actually saw the demonstration with their own eyes really believe they saw something miraculous taking place. Maybe I present it here.
Objection!
Oh, nope, that was wrong. Huh. What could we possibly have? Let's see. We actually haven't read the autopsy report, so the coroner was Courtney Sith. Okay. Details of the victim: name Odie Asman, male, age 47, nationality British, time of death 25th October, around 2:20 p.m. Cause of death: hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp implement. Additional observation: a broken vertebrae, likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from a considerable height. Okay, nothing useful there. I feel like it should be. I feel like that should be used. It might be one of those things where you present something to support your claim. No one went to. The prosecution really is certain that we went to a trip. They were actually on stage. Wait. Do I present it here then? I think we would recognize the material, right?
Objection!
Yes! That's what it is. You have to confirm that's a balloon piece. That makes sense. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged. See? That is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible. I wonder if you might know what this is. Oh, I think it may be. See? A part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope. Sorry? The envelope? Pardon. That is the large round part of the balloon, which becomes filled with hot air. It is made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You don't want to rip it when you don't want it to rip when you are when you are in the sky. Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Mr. Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all undamaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No!
If a balloon exploded that day, why didn't the man say so?
Maybe everyone on board was killed. Oh no, just having spent 10 whole pounds for the experience? How awful.
It seems to me like the thing crashed 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon.
Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently possible.
An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were. But it changes nothing about the pertinent facts. Hold it! This I cannot accept! Why not, Mr. Loon? You are suggesting that I am a liar! That person died in a balloon accidente! There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day. That's right, and I proved it! Balthar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible.
You're saying it's impossible? Why?
This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day. Seems pretty important to me. Hey!
Objection!
But we can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord, the defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon.
I concur. There is clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witnesses, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, let's see, my lord.
Witness testimony. Mr. Loon's balloons.
As I said, Balthar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe!
I can't get away from the fact that a burnt up bit of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? The coppers at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
This stupido Lagazo is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not one belonged to you?
See? Exactamente. If he saw a balloon in the first place, if he even saw a balloon in the first place, I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to sue the land of Bohemia.
If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war.
Is Spain or Britain? What happened to all-out war? Mr. Loon certainly doesn't appear to be lying. But that doesn't change the fact that the testimony and evidence are contradictory here. If the defense is unable to find fault with the witnesses' statements, the court must consider them to be the truth. Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. The situation has clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses. Cross-examination. Mr. Loon's balloons.
As I said, Balthar Loon is no liar. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safely.
Hold it!
You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe? Senor, I might not notice if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I could make a mistake of something so grande and expensive? I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made then.
Surely Miss Lestrade could have been sent for such a menial task.
What? Me? I'll tell you why I told the boss. Even kids like me can only count to 2. Obviously, that ain't true. Well, the boss bought it and said he'd have to go himself in that case.
That's a Billy Dewar voice. I don't know why. It wasn't even that hard voice too. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. If they fell to the ground in an explosion, what a catastrophe!
Hold it!
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Miss Loon, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky? Are you an idiota? Sorry? No, it's like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright. And blue flies because it flies. What else? That must be Italian for... I don't know. Oh, Italian. Right, they also use... Oh, I guess Bohemia's going more against Italy. Wait. There are 2 types of flying balloons. Hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air. Whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using gas as a lighter. A gas that is lighter than air. See? And my balloons are filled with the magic gas, I believe. Hydrogen. Lighter than air, but highly explosive. Good lord! I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes, in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire. Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode. What is the matter with you, signor? All that comes out of your mouth is esplosione! I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be, or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day. I am completely sure. But you still say that is what happened? You must show me proof. Alright, so Mr. Loon had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, what was the one that exploded?
Well, you can't get away from the fact that a burnt up piece of cloth was found at the scene, can ya? Hold it!
I was surprised to find the piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues? Nah, I'm not into picking stuff off the ground, me. Always work out better diving into people's pockets instead. So much for a new career path. Mind you, the boss was on his hands and knees, picking up all kinds of rubbish off from the floor. Thing is though, that cage went crashing into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigating was going on. Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered up as evidence. Caw, listen you! You stumbled across a bit of balloon, and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world. Pardon? Well, you ain't got a badge, have you? Like this one. I could arrest you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at the meeting we had about the investigation. Wait, isn't that super important? The carpenter at the yard reckoned it was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
Hold it! There was considerable damage to the stage and the surrounding area, wasn't there? Yeah, some of the cows what were watching the experiment got caught in the blast and injured. Good job the old contraption didn't keel over, eh? I had even considered that.
It seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the envelope from a balloon. Inspector Gleason can expect repercussions.
Like me swiping all his fish and chips, eh? The man's sole pleasure.
None of this matters. That scrap of balloon and envelope means nothing. Niente! This stupido ragazzo is mistaken. My balloons have red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Hold it! You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I don't have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene, and it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that can be. For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You could therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question.
Why not?
There have been recreational balloon flights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Expedition. One could have exploded on some earlier date, unfortunately, as I'm sure you'd agree. You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the exhibition? Si, exactement. As the signor says, it is not from one of my balloons. Certainly this little ragazzo from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
Excuse me!
Is something wrong, Master Gotts?
It's Master William Gottfried Sigismund Ormstein. It was on the tip of my tongue. Yeah, something is very long. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon. I swear it. I swear over all over Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing. If you don't have evidence, ragazzo, then you must tell your parents to punish you, eh? Then I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments. Evidence? What is evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance, some tangible proof of what you claim.
Well, why didn't you say so sooner? I have the photograph here.
Good gracious!
What? I had not been up in the balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs. Did they have film reels back then? I thought they said the plate thing. Of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemia exhibit, of the streets of London, and the hot eel cellar. The balloon, of the hot eel cellar, the balloon, and the instantaneous kinesis experiment. Did you take a picture of that? Yeah, one picture. Really? You did take one? But all I wanted was a light in a balloon. I was not interested in boring experiments. Never mind that. Can you show me that photograph? Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. I really did see a green balloon. How lucky.
Wait, where did the basket go then? Well, I see you are all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from the photograph, but that is not my fault. It's the fault of the stupid person who made the camera. Wah, wah.
That is one very bohemian sounding cry.
Wah, wah.
Very well, the court will accept this photograph as evidence.
Photograph of the balloon has been entered into court record. Oops.
It is not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred. Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I could not give a flying fig. Lovely language you've picked up. As I thought, Mr. Loon's testimony doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another fourth balloon, but Mr. Loon vehemently denies the possibility. And it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. His balloons are carrying passengers. This balloon has none. If these balloons are made of... Wait, what the hell? What's this laser beam? Anyway, if these balloons are filled with gas, how do they get them down? Because hot air balloons work by having a latch on top that lifts the hot air out so they can land. But how do gas balloons land?
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon, but it can tell us something else, something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers. There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they're for pleasure, for seeing the view. My balloons only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon. I know nothing. Ninth. I can only tell you one thing. If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine. Indeed.
Objection!
There is illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look.
So them scraps that fell to the ground after, I left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. It was bits of the balloon laying down. Because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention. A mysterious forced balloon carrying no passengers, silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by a rogue trader. Clearly, it has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded. Really? Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No. We can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it?
But wait, there's more.
Objection!
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. The photograph from Master Gotts may very well be hiding one more vital clue.
What's that?
A vital clue?
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitive now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the pictured balloon was destroyed in the searing heat of the explosion.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault.
Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantaneously and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. And what's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. The clue that heavily suggests the real reason the balloon exploded is this laser.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. Seriously. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light got incidentally on the balloon.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with a magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clearer what the nature of this bright line really is.
Was there an arrow? Goodness, what is that? Undeniably, some flash of light, yes.
Oh, golly gosh. Do you think it might be lightning?
But it could have been off. But it could have been a fire day.
I believe we may be looking at fire.
A bolt of fire heading straight for the balloon, like an arrow. Indeed. Even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon? Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what happened. What did happen.
What evidence? If such evidence exists, Counsel, then for goodness sake, present it, man! Which evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
This crossbow.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord! Is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil instead of light could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately?
Blimey, you're right! The streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, doesn't it?
Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! I think the first time he said no.
Order! Order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary supposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently.
Well, yeah. If someone shot off a gun at the exhibition, at the exhibition grounds, it will cause a real panic.
Well, with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no? I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a possible new explanation for all of this. But something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you are saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. And if the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued.
What? Wait a minute. What are you really trying to say here? I don't get it. What, was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or what?
Good, my goodness me!
Ah. Now I understand. That's what the sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along.
What? Did I just hear that correctly, Counsel?
There's no going back now. The horse has bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage in the instantaneous kinesis machine disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you've described is no science experiment. It's child's play. A contemptible display of stage magic. Oh, we just have a magician on jury too. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. In any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. if the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place, how do you explain that? If I may... Oh, no. That's a good haughty magician voice. I gave him earlier.
Or maybe like slimy. Yeah. If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception.
Juror number 3.
All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Aspen, and having this other man appear on the stage in front of the show as a body double.
Ah, yes, of course.
So, in fact,
Mr. Aspen must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the 4 winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4. Thank God we have all these experts on jury.
Flying balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases, such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered.
The mixture ratio.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception, to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on this public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time. Ugh. This would be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Van Zees can't credibly maintain that Professor Hairbrain is a suspect now. Who's talking now? Wait, you had a voice! Like, did he not have to hold it last episode?
Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you.
Professor? Did he kill Osmond because he realized that the machine didn't work and he was being strung along for a scam? So he just wants it declared an accident so he can, like, keep his scientific rep? Which everyone doesn't believe in anyways, but it's for its own, like, pride. Did he actually do it? Are we having our first guilty client? I wonder. Anyways.
But you can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please.
Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Hairbrain?
I, Albert Hairbrain, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Odie Asman. Yes, it was me. It was my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver.
What?
What are you doing?
Order! 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 Defendant, explain this sudden confession.
Objection!
Professor Harebrain, what are you talking about?
It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine, even if it's fake. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, or an elaborate prank, but where is your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it.
It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove.
Murloc?
Yes.
I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, ensure the special dispensation of scientific equipment act is adhered to and protect my creation.
Pray forgive the discourtesy of feeling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend.
What?
And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. Do you intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick? Because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act that protects the professor's invention will cease to apply. The prosecution will then demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental to the victim's murder, any chance of investigating it would be crushed, and the confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved.
Well, counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter?
What Professor Harebrain, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. But there's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence? Or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust. You've been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? Or has all knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind?
Mr. Naruhodo!
There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. But it's an impossible one. I have to give up on something. But what? The defense asserts that the defendant's instantaneous kinesis machine was in fact... The machine itself is a proper invention, but the results is a conjuring trick. Make a new save because I kind of want to go back to see what the other thing says. The conjuring trick. We have to find the truth. A man's life is worth more than a fake hypothesis. Ah! No! I can't say it! My client places faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on? It's not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's, what can I protect?
Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susano-san! But, why are you... Hey, I got an energy drill! Oh! My first Susano takedown in 6 months! I thought I was hallucinating, damn it. Why is this her greeting every time? How are we friends? Ugh. Hey, I broke my neck. There'll be time to talk later, Miss Naruto. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. Which is working out. Not what I have to give up. What I have to give up on. But what I can protect. Professor Harebrained. Ah! Yes? Yesterday you told me that the science is the pursuit of the truth. That science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe that you didn't stab Mr. Asman. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we both must pursue. What we must both pursue now. Ah!
So, you finally opened your eyes.
What?
And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer.
Ah!
Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Bardock!
Lord Van Zeeks?
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there's one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance. What? On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Professor! Did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me, and thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter, and whiter than mine. Let me see, one less lens than me too. A monocle? A rather stylish black monocle? One thing in particular would help you possibly identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who builds my invention. What? He built the machine? Last night, Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber.
Enoch Drebber? Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered. Not a man any scientist wishes to hear. The man's an abomination. Not a name any conjurer wishes to hear either.
Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal is after the government's research grant money. When musicians are in need of money, I've heard of them resorting to these underhanded tactics. Some acquaintances of mine with experience of such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before. The man is both an engineer and a musician. Yes, we're dealing with an unparalleled confidence trickster here. That's Enoch Drebber for you. Well, that explains where the wax mall went.
So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a glad illusion.
Considering what we've just heard about Mr. Trevor's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely.
Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted.
Which is why you are so opposed to it being investigated, I presume.
I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its construction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen, but at the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, then a work of deception, then everything that worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect.
So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built, and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring research grant money.
When I announced my invention to crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. But I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore.
Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Disposition for Scientific Equipment Act?
Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
Alright, that is...
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van
My lord.
The court has newly been made aware of another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
Yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like to see him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord.
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Alright, let's get lunch. October, 1:36 p.m. The Old Bailey, Defendant's Antechamber. Is that Bull Spot?
Mr. Naruhodo.
Ah, yes?
I'm so sorry. I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess. Oh, how did you ever come to this? I'm so sorry. Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Drebber was really up to, I mean? What about what he was really constructing? Naturally! That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis, of all of my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. Am I getting paid for this? I'm getting paid, right? I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruto. Arriving late? Did you receive my postcard? I want to let you know when I arrived. Oh, is this what Irish doing? Pick up Susie? Postcard? What postcard? I hid it from Bruno, so it would be a surprise. Well, did it work? Yes. I was surprised, alright. Especially when she threw me to the ground. Oh dear. I'm so sorry. Are you? Are you, woman? I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out. Intimate moments with this woman would lead to a takedown one after another, huh? Or starts with a takedown and ends with a takedown. Who knows what's going on in the middle? But takedowns are a part of it, I'm assuming. Maybe we could just stick to more traditional displays of emotion in the future. Susie's train was late into London's Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard, so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself. Well, I'm glad you didn't. Oh. Having you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, delighted to see you back in London. Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruto. I'm delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you. Of course. So, what's brought you back? Did Professor Mikotoba not protest? Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I've made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait. Usala-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. But despite my elation, our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. A perfect end of the stream. Nice. Perfect timing. These have been really short parts. Alright. Let's call a day there. And whew, man. So now I think I've solved the case. Mr. Drabbed? No. Killed Osmond, knew that Harebrain was so prideful of his hypothesis that he would take the fall rather than let the crime be proven false. So, since the invention seemed like it worked to the general public, Drab would have gotten the full research grant and fled the country. That's what I'm seeing. Since he is still A, part of the team, and B, the invention still is undiscovered. And since Harebrain knew the formula, was the only one who knew the formulas, supposedly, Drab would have the excuse that the reason why it doesn't work anymore because he doesn't know the actual like nitty-gritty stuff of it. He just built a machine, supposedly.
And that would be his excuse for when, like, he's ever questioned on it. We'll see if I'm right. Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!